you're considering a trip to China, but you're not sure what to do before your trip. In today's video, we're going to be sharing with you 10 things that you need to know before your trip to Shanghai, China. Whether you're going to Shanghai or another place around China, I think these travel tips are going to be quite similar. If you're planning on a different destination outside of Shanghai, don't leave this video yet because there's going to be some very insightful stuff that helps you no matter where you're going in China. I'm just referencing Shanghai because that's where I was at on my most recent trip. It is our first time heading to China, specifically to Shanghai. So we've got ourselves a 7-hour flight from Dubai, and we're gonna be doing a lot in the 6 days we're here. We're doing the 144-hour transit visa. Number one on the list is the 144-hour transit visa. So you guys have probably heard that China has recently started a program for quite a few different countries around the world to no longer require a visa if they're coming to China on their way to another country. So what does that mean? It means for up to 144 hours, you can stop in a city inside of China, assuming that you fly directly into Shanghai and then from Shanghai to, let's say, Manila, Philippines, like I did as an example. So you couldn't fly from Shanghai to Beijing and then to Manila. You would need to fly in and out of Shanghai, in and out of Beijing, or in and out of another international hub in China. And then you're able to get the 144-hour transit visa on arrival. That said, guys, I'm going to put a link down in the description below so you know exactly whether or not the country that you're from falls within one of the countries that's allowed to get the transit visa.
I would like to thank all of you for supporting my new clothing brand, Perception, which I recently launched, and it supports the ideology of changing perceptions of the world one country at a time. And through the last 5 years, I've been traveling all around the world. And during that time, I've had the opportunity to meet so many people, experience many unique cultures, and see places that I understood in a completely different way. And that led me to create my clothing brand, Perception. We have Perception because when you walk out and see the world right there where the O is, you get to experience the world in a new way every time you put yourself out there. And so I've created a number of different items, one of them being the sweatshirt right here, as well as hoodies and t-shirts, both printed as well as blank, and you can check them out on my website, a link down in the description below. With every purchase, there's a percentage that goes back to communities and families in need all around the world, and I share those in videos for you guys to experience. So thank you so much. Back to the video.
Number two on the list is experiencing the food in China. The one thing that I wish I would have done on my most recent trip to Shanghai was have my food tour on the first day and not almost the last day. Because what had happened was I decided to book a food tour with my friend Harry. We went on a food tour and we had an amazing time.
It's really cool to see a place from a local's eyes, because obviously you're gonna see places that you can't find as easy if you're looking up on like things to do videos online, or you know, some of these other places where people find information. Jim's gonna take us to places that you have never seen before, and I'm so excited.
We had a guide named Jim who owns a small food tourism company over there, and he shows people around all the local food in Shanghai, and you can ask him pretty much anything you want.
And that brings me to another question. There used to be a law about how many kids you could have.
Right now it's a three-child in Shanghai.
3 child, and then is that different in every region in China?
I'm not sure the rest of China, but Shanghai's a 3, but most family would rather have just a 1.
Yeah, because
2 is already a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Whether financially or that you find someone to take care of.
Oh, right. Because the working culture is very
just
busy.
Insane. Yeah. Most of the time, the tradition requires the grandparents to take care. These days, the grandparents are also being very independent. They love enjoy their own life. They have good pension while spending on the family.
And he was such a great guy to get some insight on Chinese culture and everything related to China, not just food. But on the food side of things, if you do your food tour at the beginning, then you're going to know some of the foods to try when you're in China. Otherwise, if you do it at the end of your trip, then you will learn about all these great foods you can try, and then you'll be leaving the country and probably forget them by the time it's your next trip. So my recommendation is to do a food tour and do it at the beginning of the trip, explore a ton of great places, and if you want to use the same guy I did, Jim, I'll put a link down in the description below. Number 3 on the list is usually the most common question. How do I get access to social media, WhatsApp, Gmail, YouTube, all of these while I am traveling? Well, the first things first is you need a VPN in order to access sites while traveling to China. That being said, you might still run into some issues. Some VPNs don't work. Sometimes there's just some network errors. The best way to ensure that you're going to have connectivity in China is to get yourself set up with an eSIM card, and an eSIM card will give you access to the local China networks. And then you won't even need to use a VPN in order to access all of those different social media sites if you purchase that Airalo eSIM before you arrive to China. And once you arrive, then you're already activated and good to go to use your eSIM. Then you'll have no problems connecting to social media, checking bank stuff, all that other stuff you want to be able to access that might be blocked when you're in China. Number 4 on the list is you might experience a bit of a language barrier.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I would say even in Shanghai, which is a very international city, you still run into a lot of language barriers where people just simply don't speak English.
Many minutes to drive. 开始日久多少分钟
30分钟
Oh, 3 minutes. 30 minutes. All right, that works.
That works, bro.
The best way to do it is to ensure that you have an application where you can talk into it in English and then translate it to Chinese, and that will work you wonders. That will make sure that your trip goes so smooth. I usually use the app Google Translate on my phone. So once again, Google is going to be blocked if you don't have either a VPN on your phone or you have that eSIM card that has you set up on the China network. So you might have to use a different app if you didn't get set up on one of those networks that's able to get around some of their blocking on various types of websites. Number 5 on the list is bargaining in China.
Waterproof, new model, 150, really cheap. Okay?
I think my budget's 100 today.
No, 150 is maximum.
So this is going to vary, obviously, depending on where you're at. If you're at a local shop or you're at one of these markets like I went to called the Science Museum.
Now, if you're wondering why it's called the Science Museum, it's because it's at the Science Museum subway shop. So let's head right inside. Oh, all right, this is a whole new world down here.
They're going to tell you prices that are like 10, 15x, maybe 5x, a lot more, and they're going to expect you to negotiate down quite a bit. But there are some people who don't negotiate down, which is why they probably start so high. I remember looking at a pair of shoes, and they were more expensive than I would have bought them at the local store back in the United States. So I was like, whoa, these prices are super high.
You give me a reasonable price.
You give me.
$5.80. That's $15 times 5. That's more than I'd buy in United States. $90. I bought Air Force cheaper.
How much?
You
has. Oh, thank you. Well, you have. Come on, say no, you price.
So as you guys can see, prices here are very expensive. You really got to negotiate.
Now, this is in that specific area in Shanghai, and bargaining is required. I also was brought back into like a secret shop, and I had to negotiate a set of pens down from like $100 down to $20. So
What about the pens? These are good pens?
Oh, wow, very good. Good pen. You can check.
A real?
It is copy.
Copy, okay.
How much is that one?
One set.
59?
$80.
Oh, whoa.
One set, 2 pieces.
Man, oh man, I could buy
The real pen is.
Yeah, the real
Real
one.
pen price is now
We'll do
like this.
we'll do 55
45 what?
yuan. What's your next best price?
I give 500. Okay, for one set. One set,
500.
not one.
Oh my god.
Is that did he
70.
double the price?
He went 10
Oh,
down
that's
by 10
still
bucks.
too much. We'll bring it up to 75 here.
Sorry, can't.
All right.
If you want me give me real price, okay.
All right.
You give him real price.
My final offer is 100
For one piece.
for the 2 set. We got to work here together, brother. If it's not real, then you got it for a good price. It's one of those sayings: you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Can't do past 150, brother.
Okay, well,
We got 150. You got 150 in that bag, bro? You got change there, brother?
okay.
All right, thank you very much.
So it just goes to show you that the bargaining is expected in the culture. And if you're not comfortable with it, I would recommend doing some role plays, because people will give you those facial expressions like, you'll be like, all right, $50 or equivalent, whatever it is in yuan. And they'll be like,
That's as much as the real ones.
No.
55
45 what?
yuan.
If you're not used to bargaining, you're going to be like, oh crap, I don't want them to think I'm ripping them off or insulting them. But they do those reactions because they know that you're going to be less likely to keep bargaining. So you got to start with a really, really low price, much further than your target price. Let's say your target is $30 and they say 100. You should start at $10, then meet them at 15, then 20, then settle on 30. And if they're not going to give you on 30, then walk out the store. And usually they're going to follow you out. Number 6 on the list is the tipping culture in China. The question is, are you supposed to tip in China or not?
Tip? Shishe.
Oh, 谢谢.
I think with a lot of the world, the more tourism happens, the more people start to get accustomed to tipping. But in general, when I posted my YouTube series on China, I had a lot of Chinese people saying, why are you tipping? That's not normal for us to tip in China. So from my understanding at this point in 2024, tipping is not something that people are expecting or even thinking you're going to do. So it's not something that's required. That being said, my personal motto is if someone does something great for me and works really hard, I always will be one of the first people to tip them. Number 7 on the list is, can you film in China or not? So this is a very interesting question because what you read online, it's like, hey, it's very dangerous to film here. You're going to get in trouble. They're going to take you. In my personal opinion, all of this is completely blown out of proportion because myself, Harry, and Ali, my other vlogging friends, we were filming non-stop for our entire time in Shanghai. And nobody minded. I'm not recommending you to do what we did. This isn't advice, legal advice, or anything. Need to put that disclaimer out. You see Chinese locals out there live streaming on the streets. You see so many locals that are just taking photos and filming every possible thing. And when you think about it, whenever you see Chinese tourists in other parts of the world, they're usually taking so many photos and videos. Now, if you're a commercial filmmaker or you're doing all these different types of things, I can't speak on behalf of what types of permits you need. But what I can tell you, if you're walking around China, there are cameras everywhere. But we walked around and had a lot of fun. And no, we're not paid by China. I've never received a single dollar. So yeah, it's way more relaxed, at least in Shanghai. I can't speak on behalf of the rest of the country. I've never been there. But Shanghai was a great experience. It's an international city, and we were able to film.
We were looking for someone like you who could just give us this incredible look into what Chinese culture is like.
1 minute to introduce Shanghai. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, please do.
Hello, yes, everyone. It's Ethan in Shanghai. It's Ethan in Shanghai. Yes, let me make a short introduction about Shanghai. Okay. It's our Pudong Node district. It's built in the past 30 years. And you can see our Shanghai Tower. It's the world's third tallest. Yes, it's 632 meters. Very tall, very, very tall. So next time when you come to Shanghai, I strongly recommend to climb up the top and see the vision. Very quite good.
Amazing.
Welcome friends from all the cross countries. Yes, welcome to China. China is open-minded to embrace the globe. Okay.
谢谢，你学了吗？
可以了，可以了。
Why should tourists come to China?
Because you may interest in our developing, and I think communication we should civilian to civilian, not just official. Yes, and also your friends, you come to China because you are interested in our China. Yes, you want to see something by yourselves. Is that right? Yes. So it may change your stereotype.
Number 9 on this list is to make sure you have enough time in your schedule to experience all of Shanghai or whatever city you're going to. I do want to mention I did make a separate video on things that you can do when you're exploring all over Shanghai. And in this video, you're going to find so many things. But experiencing Shanghai, there are a vast amount of different pockets of the city. If you're looking to see the modern side of this place, you're going to be able to find the high towers like the Pearl TV Tower, the Shanghai Tower, which is the 3rd tallest building in the world. And then there's even the sightseeing bun train, which takes you underneath the river, and it's a cool experience. So these are just a couple of the items that you can do while you're in Shanghai. But most importantly is that you build in enough time to experience Shanghai, even if you're just stopping there for a few days, because it is a cool city and there's so much to do. And number 10 on the list, which is arguably the most important tip that I'm sharing in this video. China is a cashless society about 95% of the time. What does that mean? That means you're paying for essentially everything with your smartphone. So there's a few different apps they use. The one that my friend Chris Lewis, another YouTuber, had turned me on to was Alipay. So if you download Alipay from the App Store, you're then able to connect your credit card. And then essentially every time you make a purchase, You will then scan your QR code, and that's already linked to your credit card. And you'll pay whether you're buying a Mountain Dew at the local street stand or you're buying something nice at a tourist shop. There's different ways you can pay that way. Now, in hotels and a lot of like mainstream establishments, you can still pay in cash. You can still pay with a credit card. I don't want to say it's impossible, but your life will be 10 times easier if you have Alipay. I would say it's borderline a requirement. I don't know if you could get by in the city without having one of these applications to pay you. So depending on the size of the purchase as well, you might actually need to validate or verify your passport, your travel document in there in order for the payment systems to ensure that you're not like taking someone else's card and making an account or whatever. So it's there for security systems. I used Alipay and it was awesome. Honestly, we need to have something like that all over the world. But this is a must. Don't look past this or you're going to face a lot of struggles. Let me just tell you, I took out like $200 worth of cash or exchanged $200 worth of cash when I arrived to the airport. And I don't think I used all of it in the 6 days that I was there. And keep in mind, I was exploring all day, every single day. So yeah, that just goes to show you it's cashless, guys. So yeah, my friends, that is where we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's video. As you can imagine, those are just a few important things to know about China before you're visiting. If you follow all these things, I think you're going to have a very smooth and efficient process exploring around this place. I've included some links to other videos I've made about China, as well as I've included some links to some of the things I talked about in today's video, like helpful travel tips and other websites you can use that are going to help you plan your trip to China. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.